You can't defeat me.
No, I know. But he can.
Marvel. It is unarguably the biggest movie producer in the world. They make millions upon billions of dollars every time, without fail. But can this really last forever? Judging by the recent shift in Marvel quality, we can see how there has been a decline in the standard of Marvel movies, whether it be the bad CGI, the bad writing, or just a bad idea altogether. So, when will the MCU end? It has to end at some point, right? After all good things come to an end. Or can it truly last forever? Well, there are some things that could fuel the decline of the MCU. Let's face it, the real reason why Marvel and Disney make all these movies and hit blockbusters is because they're in it for the money. And with this greed for money, they may begin sacrificing quality in order to make more money. Look at this scene from Moon Knight. Look at how bad the CGI looks. The whole reason is because the budget for this series was much lower than other movies the MCU have produced. And because of this, they have sacrificed the quality of the CGI. As a result of greed, we may find it's not just CGI quality that worsens, but writing quality may worsen, character quality may worsen. All aspects just worsen, as they have neither money nor the care for time to actually make good content. Oversaturation could be the thing that kills the MCU. There are over 70,000 characters from the Marvel Comics. If you include all the villains, sidekicks, and of course main heroes, 70,000. That's a heck of a lot. There's no doubt Marvel would make use of this wide range of characters for their new movies, milking out the characters for what they can, oversaturating the entertainment industry with movie after movie. But as we've seen with another major franchise, Star Wars, milking out characters just doesn't do the job. Solo was a movie that performed significantly lower than previous Star Wars films. The whole reason why is because Disney was oversaturating the Star Wars franchise and the audience was getting bored. And what do you get as a result of a bored audience? We've already seen the beginnings of audience fatigue with the mountains of critique and backlash against recent Marvel movies and TV shows. The audience is getting tired of this decline in quality, and they want the MCU to step up and do something about it. And Marvel should really listen if they want to avoid destruction. Let's compare Marvel to Jaws, a major hit film of the 70s. Fans adored this movie, but then the producers wanted to make more movies after it, more sequels, and in all honesty, they were completely unnecessary, completely lacking, and took away from the magic of the original film. The audience got bored. They lost interest. But ultimately, how will the MCU end? Will it ever end? Stay tuned, because we've come up with a list of possible scenarios on how the sun could set on this multi-billion-dollar franchise. Avengers: Secret Wars. Marvel announced Avengers: Secret Wars to premiere in November of 2025. It may feel like a long way from now, but pretty soon the day will be upon us. They could end with this movie, capping off the multiverse saga, bringing all characters in, making a final last hurrah. In the original comics, Secret Wars featured cameos from the X-Men and Fantastic Four. This could be the end of the MCU, although out of everything on our list, this is probably the most unlikely scenario, just because it's so soon. Once Marvel gets a sense that the decline into an end is approaching, they may perform a reboot. Reboot everything, all plot lines, all characters, everything, which I guess in a sense will cause the Marvel Cinematic Universe as we know it to end. But still, it's a method of survival. Marvel may take a small break, get fans asking for more, begging for some kind of Marvel content, then come in with reprises and remakes. Once they know the audience is hungry for more, perhaps they'll start making movies with a twist, something unexpected, subvert their own expectations. And then, when the audience starts to grow weary again, they'll just reboot again, repeat. It becomes an easy solution and avoids the problem of trying to outdo previous films. Like, how do you outdo a film about multiverses with all characters present, and the highest stakes possible, like the multiverse on the line? You can't. So, what do? Reboot. The ultimate crossover, DCU and MCU. Okay, this is one that I know has already gotten you on the edge of your seat. Imagine the hype for this. MCU and DCU, two of the biggest superhero producers in the world, finally coming together and joining on the big screen. Marvel could decide they will end with the biggest hurrah in cinema history. A DCU and MCU crossover, the biggest movie in the world. It could make billions of dollars easily. It could be enough to feed the always greedy Disney for a while, perhaps satisfy that hunger for a few years. But we never know if this will happen, as business deals are tricky and hard to come by, as we've seen with Spider-Man through Sony and Disney's dispute. But Marvel and DC fans can only hope. Honestly, this is my biggest fear for Marvel. They've had such a good run. It would be such a shame if they dwindled out like some sad soap opera. No offense, Grey's Anatomy. I can see it all happening. Marvel will start making movies that just aren't good anymore. Plain and simple. People will stop watching. And eventually Disney will realize Marvel is not worth the effort anymore. Maybe there will be a new character cast by then from a different comic series that will be incredibly popular. We never know. Disney would dump Marvel as their property and move on to something else if it was more likely to make them dough. And Marvel will be left to dwindle out like a poor dying flame. Marvel will never end. This one is the most difficult one to achieve, but that doesn't make it unlikely. The MCU could never end. They could survive by rebooting, remaking constantly over and over. And in this scenario, the only thing that could make the MCU end is if the Earth is swallowed by a black hole or the sun explodes or something. Which, now that I think about it, seems a more befitting end to such a great franchise. Who knows? When all is said and done, there is one thing I truly believe. Marvel should end. And it should be with a big bang. Think of Friends. That hit series ended before it could get milked out and become this limp, fragile, sad thing, a mere remnant of the greatness it used to be. We don't talk about the Joey sequel. I hope Marvel comes to an end. It had a good run. It deserves a good ending. As a wise Black Widow once said,
"Nothing lasts forever."